G'day guys, we are back. If you saw the last live, we did this inside and the rain has cleared away of this wonderful place. We have blue skies, mushy ground, but it is time to paint. So, without further ado, let's crack into this wild little layer. Brought all the goods. This is just why I put the phone inside. That's a new thing. And we're gonna pick up where we left off with a whole bunch of wild colour. I would die every day waiting for you. Da ba da ba ba ba, bam ba doo boo, ba da ba da. Oh, I've left one thing behind. I'll be back. Made it back, just. All right. Paint, paint, paint. Here we go. Oopsie daisies. Ooh. Picture. The picture's what I left behind. Here we go. Wonderful. How's our light? Looking fantastic. Everything's looking stunning. We are good to go. Right. Da, 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 da. That sun's got some kick. That's what I want. I want sunlight with kick. Alright, no time like the present. Let's get started. Lots of the gloss gel. Alright. I would die every day waiting for you. Da 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 da, I adore you for 1,000 years. Sorry, that song's stuck in my head, team. But it's a good song. It's a fun song. Would she wait 1,000 years though? I think we congratulate the guy from The Notebook for waiting. How long was that? 8 years, 10 years? And he didn't even wait either. He had like a girl in between who he broke her heart. It's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. Bring the comments together. I've got some sun. Yes, indeed. It's coming out great. Oh, it's early days yet, Glennis. Let it really settle in. Give it some more time. Give it some more time. It'll change multiple times. At the moment, we can see quite a warm colour palette taking charge. But as we continue to add layers, lush, loving green start to pop out more and more and more. And that's the plan. I want that. Those blacks, depth, but will start to fall back. It's also what I want. La da dee, la do, la da dee, da do. All right. Jesse, where am I? I'm out in New Zealand nature. Feels good. Feels really good. Now we can both paint together. Yes, Joseph. But I've only got so long because the sun's gently dipping down. So I wanted to come out here, smash out a bit of paint with you guys. And if the sun dips, that's all right. We'll probably hang around for a bit, but I didn't really wear clothing appropriate of it getting too cold. I was in such a hurry to get out here. And that painting is amazing. You absolute legend. I appreciate that. Give it some time though. I've got to make this real and actually say it. Painting's like high school girlfriends or boyfriends or partners, and that you think you're into them at the time, but trust me, you'll see it when it's finished and you might change your mind. You may love it more, but you also might love it less. So give this painting a chance to change and develop, and if you like it when it's finished, fantastic. And if you think, ooh, Sid really brought it downhill there, that can also happen. Tay, is it not freezing? Look, I wore pants the other day when I was supposed to be in shorts. I wore shorts today when I was supposed to be in pants. But I think the important thing to think about here is I've been inside with a baby in quite hot temperatures. The heat pump's on. So to come outside and feel a brisk temperature actually feels quite nice. I will die every day waiting for you. That is the anthem of today. That is the absolute anthem. Looking beautiful. Hello Courts, how we doing? Good to have you here. And jumping jacks would you really think so? What would really help me is my water bottle, which I've left behind. So we're here now. We're doing this, we're here now. We wish we had those assets, but in this case here, we do not. That's okay. This is the reflection here now. Comes down to the water there a little bit. This chisels up over the top. Every day, waiting for you. You know, one other thing too, guys, I used to say I like to avoid green because I felt like green couldn't be competed with in nature. But I've since changed that opinion. I feel like that's silly. And the reason I feel like that's silly is I feel like that's like saying Arnold Schwarzenegger has a great body, so I won't go to the gym. And in fact, greens don't have to be competing with or better than nature. Whether they are or aren't is actually irrelevant. What's relevant is the fact that nature can inspire them to be beautiful. I don't know why I ever thought it was relevant for greens to compete with nature. I don't know why I thought competition in that sense was good. What? It's dangerous acting. It's dangerous stuff. Wearing white while painting, especially this color white. This is very, very stark white, but we'll risk it. It makes me try and control it harder as well. Control it better on the surface. There we go, beautiful. Every day waiting for you. Here we go. Here we are, beautiful. Colours will be changing a lot now team, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's coming together. I like it. What's art without the mess? I work with charcoal pencil. It's fun as sketching. Cheers, Aiken. And Courts, that's fantastic. Charcoal pencils are really fun to work with. Art without the mess. Well, I feel like for me, because I paint so ridiculously wild, that actually having some control over something sort of satiates my desire for it. We always vie for control in something within the art. Hey Jude. But for me, I find that if I am able to satiate that with everything away from the canvas, I can lose control on the canvas. Did I explain that well? Probably slash over my words there a few times. But I hope you know what I mean. I will die every day waiting for you. Bum, 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 bum. For 1,000 years. Smaller brush. Need control on the art, but I've been trying to loosen up. So, if you want to loosen up on the artwork, try giving that same control somewhere else. Control what you dress, control the music that you play, control the environment you paint in. Redirect it. You can't remove control, but you can transpose it. I think it feels weird, you feel like you're a lesser artist if you actually grab something in the work, like your element of control, and just ask for it to be completely gone. I've tried painting, hate it purely not for having much control. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You do lose a lot of the control with painting. A lot of the professionals, old masters, try and get that control back. Da Vinci invented a way to remove the brush strokes from the paint. Different people do different things, but honestly, I think painting's at its best when you actually relinquish that control and allow it to be crazy. And if that doesn't vibe for you, it's okay. There's a bunch of other mediums you can pursue. Things like, hey Steve, things like digital art, things like photography, things like movie making, things like music and poetry. But paint serves its best. It's okay to have realism art. I like realism art to exist. But I think we need that chaos. I think that's essential. I think it's where painting really brings its own. You can't have chaos photography. Like, maybe you could, but show me what that looks like. You can break the rules in painting in some really interesting ways. When I say break the rules, Let's define everything that's not making it perfect realism as a broken rule. That's what we'll define that as. Once you've made a mistake, painting isn't painting over. It isn't the same. Why would you want to paint over a mistake? That's like, think about a relationship, and there's a lot of synonymous elements with a relationship and with painting. Think about if you make a mistake in a relationship, say you didn't communicate well, say something happened, blah, blah, blah. What's the best way to deal with that mistake? Is it to cover it up? Is it to try and scrape it off the canvas? No, it's not. It's to acknowledge that it happened. It's to accept that it's now part of the picture. And the best way to make the mistake less of an issue is to make 20, 100, 200, 1,000 non-mistakes. So make the mistake, but the more you get hung up on it, the more you're going to make the whole work center around that mistake. Don't do that. Hey Mike, how we doing? Good to see you too. But you'd want to make it fade. You will make it fade. You will dilute it with 100 not mistakes. To think you're going to make it fade by giving it more attention, that's getting hung up on something and dragging the whole relationship down with it. But actually, if you allow yourself to do right every single day, 100 not mistakes completely outweighs the mistake. So if you look at your work and all you can see is the mistake, probably every stroke you made since you made the mistake literally centered around the mistake, reacted to the mistake, projected from the mistake. Don't let that happen. So the best way to deal with that is to accept the mistake. If you can accept it, you'll be away. That's what I think. That's what I think. And if you make 100 mistakes, well, I think you've that's happened before, actually. Look at work like, let's just say Pollock. If you make 100 mistakes, then you get a Pollock, and you become one of the most famous artists of all time. You see, I think every artist is judged on, and their style falls around the fact of, are we making one mistake every 10? Are we making 2 mistakes every 10? Do we make a mistake every 100 strokes, or is every stroke some form of a mistake? And honestly, all of them can make great art, because the mistakes never controlled your ability to express yourself. They never did that. You let the mistakes control you. Pollock could splatter paint around every single blotch being a mistake, and yet he was able to express himself through art. And so we revere it. Why would you be any different? Don't let your work center around a mistake. For me, every single colour, every single stroke on this canvas is technically a mistake. It's the wrong hue, it's in the wrong place, it's the wrong tone, and it's the wrong size. But in aggregate, even though it's all mistakes, this is another little fun part of it, even though it's all mistakes, the culmination of a million well-intentioned mistakes come together to make a picture. And so if I keep making mistakes with the best of intentions, that's the important thing, not intentional mistakes, mistakes with the best of intentions. They're two very, very different things. Then after 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 brushstrokes, we will get something special. We can't not get something special. Thanks, Courts. And yes, Steve, it is. This is 700 Springs Ranch. This is going to Texas. This is a very, very fun piece. I want to see this painting later. Will you save it? Yes, absolutely. I will save this painting. Overthinking. It's okay to overthink, but don't overthink the mistakes. Please find something else to think about. Sometimes you'll do your best painting work when your brain is so attached to something else psychologically, because suddenly when you started painting, you were finally free to paint. And when nothing's going on in life, suddenly you overthink the painting and you can't make anything happen. So, in YouTube, yes, in YouTube. Everything's up on YouTube. It's either on YouTube, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on Rumble, it's on all the platforms. And I get exasperated when I say that because it means I have to sit in front of my laptop with a coffee or with a hot chocolate late at night and slowly upload them to each individual one. And it's like a 3 gigabyte file, so it's like you know what, it's fine. I'm just wondering about nothing. I would die every day waiting for you. Time to time, all the time, all the time. I would die waiting for you. Beautiful curl coming up there. Big fan. Right, there's paint still left on that plate, but we're actually finished with those colours. You can keep going and going and going, but actually everything's there. We're sorted. Hey Cindy, welcome on in. And cheers Steve, yes, Steve's 100% correct. There'd be no reason not to believe him anyway. It's Auckland that we're painting from, and I'm painting a ranch in Texas. Beautiful ranch. So given the fantastic opportunity to have some fun here, the sun's dipped, but look, I reckon the lighting's still okay. How do you guys feel about it? If we're going okay with the lighting, how do we feel? Did it go a bit pale, or are you guys happy? Because I can still paint in this. If you guys can bear the fact that the sun dipped, I'll just keep going. How do we feel? Hello from Texas. This is a Texas place. So let me know. I will follow your lead, whatever that may be. Still awesome? Still awesome. Still perfect, still awesome. Keep going. Perfect. All right. Well, we will. We will. We will. Happy days. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Let me know when it gets too dark, though. Just say, because we want to make sure the whole journey's documented properly, rather than like a period being in like pitch black if we can help it. Yeah, quartz, absolutely. So, guys, if you're an artist and you're watching here and you're thinking, he's really wild, maybe my style's not that wild, but I would like to get 10% of that, say, definitely send me the work. And more importantly than sending the work, and this is quite an ask, but the reason why I come on here and show you a work halfway through, which can be quite scary, and I talk like this to you guys, is don't be afraid to get vulnerable. It's really important. Sometimes that's actually what's affecting your art. One of the things that restrained my art when I was in high school was that I was insecure. I was unable to be vulnerable. And if I was unable to be exposed and vulnerable, how was I supposed to depict that on a 2D surface to then show the world in perpetuity? No way was the art ever going to be anything worthy of note. Only once you can accept that actually, I'm happy for the world to, through the art, to see me. And the way you accept that, it's easy to say that. You're like, oh yeah, no, I'm motivated to do that, but how? Stop thinking about the art and imagine that the world, that everyone who saw it actually saw you. All you are, all the things that make you, all the things that make you ashamed, humiliated, happy, proud, joyful, all those things. Imagine someone saw everything. And then play this little hypothetical thought game with me. Imagine they loved what they saw. All you are, all your faults, all your good things, all your little quirks, all the things you resent about yourself, all your tastes, all your hobbies, all your likes and dislikes. Imagine they saw all those parts of you and they loved what they saw. And if you imagine that and you do that little thought experiment just once a day, suddenly the idea of exposing yourself through art won't seem so scary. because you've conditioned yourself once a day, you've trained yourself. That was close. That almost got me. That would have been a block of paint on my nice white shirt. You've conditioned yourself to be ready for the idea that someone could love what you make, and therefore, through that art, love the creator. And like I say, I was unable to do that because I was unable to accept it if someone knew who I was, that they'd like what they saw. And that made me not just a weak person, but a very weak artist. And once I came around to the idea of actually, if I actually just be myself, and I allow myself to be, if I've got feelings, to share those feelings, if I've got emotions, to have those emotions, to hold those emotions, to be me, if I allow myself to do that, what will happen? Well, art happens. Art worthy of looking at happens, guys. Coming on in. Human diversity is so beautiful. We are all the same yet so unique. Love that. Going to art college or against? That's a great question. Let's talk about art colleges. And how to get a painting. Okay, bunch of questions. Have I ever been approached? Okay, yes, occasionally, but usually if a fan sees me out in public anywhere in Auckland, they'll let me finish the painting set, or they'll come up to me before or after, just because they don't want to interfere, which is mean. So if you do catch me outside, absolutely come up and say hi afterwards or beforehand. But if I'm in the middle of a live, best just to jump on the live via the phone, because that's a nice way to do it. And two other questions. Thank you, Steve and art school. Right. How to buy a commission, and then should you go to art school? Right. Art school's great. Art school's great. It's definitely great. It's a great opportunity. Do you have to do it? Have to do it? It's an interesting question. Do you have to use oil paints? Do you have to use a paintbrush? Do you have to do anything? I think once you start dealing in absolutes, it's a very dangerous place to be. It's a famous quote in Star Wars, only a Sith deals in absolute, and only someone who's actually lost vision of what art should be tells you that you must go to art school. So art school's great, but it's not the be-all end-all. The next thing I'll say is the biggest impact on your craft is going to be your peers. Find good peers, connect with good people, surround yourself with people who either love your art or grow you. People who had nothing to do with art actually had the biggest impact on my art. Tradies, friends, international acquaintances, people who I would never have expected had massive impacts on how I make art. Massive impacts. So don't think it has to be art school or artists who influence you. The best advice that I ever got for presenting art and how to make art came from people who worked in trades. Came from joiners and framers, came from builders, plumbers and electricians. So when I constantly refer back to them on a craft aspect, they had a profound impact on how I do things, how I prepare panels, how I frame things, how I view art. That wasn't an artist's mind, but that was a human mind, and that's powerful. Last question, coming on back, last question. How to get a commission. Right, link in the bio, there is a commission form. This month is completely booked out, and there is an exciting project coming up later this month, which I'll tell you more about. But so this month's completely done, but probably mid next month for commissions. Dial in then. If you want a commission, there's a process to it. We get a picture, we get some inspiration, we get an idea, we make it happen, and then we make it. We make it live, we make reels, we keep the live replays as well, post them online, so that way it's always permanently available. So if you're looking at your work and you look at the pinks, or the oranges, or the blues, they can fall back and be subtle in the background, but you can always go back to the full recording and go, I remember what they were in there for. I remember how much there was. I remember the effect it had. Because the painting changes so much over the course of its creation. that to lose all these colours that are in between each layer is a catastrophe. They have to keep on existing. And to finish that thought off, guys, the art's available anywhere. So wherever you are in the world, it can reach you. It goes in a very protective crate. It's all insured. It'll arrive to you safe and sound, and you can just hang it on your wall immediately. There won't be any go get it frames, go do this, go do that. It all just arrives completely ready to go. Hope that helps. Right, coming on in, golden hour, indeed. Just realised, has it changed that much, has it? That's kind of fun. Cheers, Amber. Appreciate you a lot. I was the youngest there too. Everyone loved having, I did a year at art school. It was fun. Yeah, different art schools are different too. I wouldn't, don't take an experience at one art school and whittle all art schools down to it. Polytechs are different. Everything's different. And Glynis, do I sell prints? I do sell prints. So there's currently only 2 available. There's 2 available. They might be your style. They might not be your style. There's more inbound. Most of the legacy prints, I call them legacy because they're all out of stock now. Most of the legacy prints are out of stock. So we can still see the artwork online, and they'll be available in things like puzzles and things like that. But the actual prints themselves, they won't be available again. So those who collected them now own those prints. Now I can't just be like, oh, release of 20 prints, and then be like, oh, I've got 20 more, you know? If it's limited release, it's done. 20 of them gone, no more made. So for things like, some good examples, Zambezi River, Africa and Mahalo, the best way to get a hold of those ones is either buy a print off someone who's already got one, or to buy a puzzle. I think puzzles are out now. I think they both have puzzles of them. They're like 1,000-piece puzzles online, which is pretty fun. What was I saying? But yeah, 2 prints available. One is a sunflower. One is a land meets sea. So it's that point where the land meets the ocean. It's all kind of fun. Both really wild. Really wild. Similar to this work. Really wild. Very, very different colour palettes. This is hitting that green mark. Land meets sea. Naples yellow and baby blue. And then sunflowers is just yellow, potent Van Gogh style yellows. Alright, let's get a bit more blue in here. Coming back in. Do I hire someone to do this? No, guys. I get this question a fair bit. I'm a one-man show. So if you talk to me on social media, you're talking directly to me. If you have my email goes through to me. Yes, sorry, Glennis, I do sell prints. There's a couple available. Prints, jigsaws, there's leggings coming. I'm trying to get more merchandise sorted. But there's steps to this. There's shipping, there's printing, there's making sure it's environmentally friendly. The prints are all carbon zero. So all the prints that ship around the world, they actually offset the carbon emissions. And it's about finding products that I can do a similar thing with, if possible. So there's a process basically. So it's nice to have these ideas, but actually doing it in an environmentally conscious, fun, effective way for everyone takes a little bit longer. But I'm working on it. You're coming out with all the questions. What brand of paint do I use? I chop and change, honestly. I will, as long as it's professional grade artist paint, it'll be okay. But I typically keep trying everything on the market. So if I see a new big paint come out, I'll try it for an original, see how I feel. And sometimes they're better, sometimes they're vastly worse. sometimes once you're in that professional grade, it's not about going up to the most expensive. Kind of like, think about it like wine. Wine's a good example. You know how wine, after you're spending $50 a bottle, pretty much gets as good as it's going to get, and then you can get up to $2,000 and $3,000 a bottle, and it feels good, but the taste doesn't change. Okay, paint's similar. So once you're spending, you know, $20, $30 on a tube, it doesn't really get a whole lot better when you go up to 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 for a tube, unless you're buying certain series. So some pigments can be more expensive. Not drastically, not like the olden days where ultramarine used to cost the weight of gold, but like enough that it's 4 or 5 times more expensive. That kind of extra cost. So like, I'll point out the next Series 6 colour we use here. So Series 6 paint costs around. Series 6 can be like, I think like $65, and then a Series 1 can be $13, so they really do scale. Big change. John, right. Hello, John. How do you feel about Stuart Semple's colours and paints? Great question, John. He's slipping my mind right now, so I need to Google him. So can I get back to you on that question? But thank you for asking it. I'll get back to you, John. And life is good, Blake. Cheers, Black Bunny. Hello from France. I saw a painting of Jesus and a lamb. Are you Christian? Look, that painting there, really special one. The building that I was in was Christian, and the painting itself was very fitting to be a religious work. So we've done a few religious works, but that particular one, Jesus and the Lamb, the shepherd, that was really important because it was done with egg tempera, which is a painting style which was really, really relevant back in that time period. So it was made with completely natural paint, and that's that yellow glow that painting has. I wanted to give it a very, very yellow glow and capture the shepherd. Technically though, if we wanted to get technical, I'm born Anglican, if that makes sense to you. And where did I get my artistic, oh, John, I was just saying, it's slipping my mind who Stuart is, so I can't help right now, but once I've had a chance to get home and refresh my memory, I will let you know. Do I like painting animals? I like painting everything. I like painting everything. And sorry, Petty, artistic education. I've got an eclectic education that goes in all sorts of directions. And what I will say is the biggest impact on all my studies I've ever done in art came from peers. Came from people who love me, telling me yes when I needed to hear yes, and no when I needed to hear no. That was what made me. Art school, tutoring, classes, subjects, scholarships, it all pales in comparison to a good friend who genuinely cares. I think that's what we go to art school hoping for a lot of the time. A teacher who genuinely cares about us and our craft. And yet, if we had a friend that filled that gap for us, maybe we'd feel a little more complete. I would die every day waiting for you. Dun, 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 dun. Cheers, Lindsay. Can I paint an angel? I could do. It's on the cards. fun with a colour palette and things. Certainly would be. Go. Cass, thank you so much, and I am freezing right now, absolutely freezing. But I wanted to get out of the heat pump, just get some fresh air for a little bit. So there's method to this madness, because the baby needs a bit of heat. So. Oh, that was the wrong colour. I would die every day be waiting for you. How do you find inspiration for what you want to paint? That's a great question. So in terms of the inspiration for what I want to paint, a lot of the time that inspiration or that excitement comes to me from a client or collector who brings an idea to me with commissions. But in terms of inspiration, I feel like there's a massive misunderstanding on that in the artistic world. We believe that you need inspiration to start painting. I think that's wrong. It's the wrong way around. I think we need motivation to start painting, and inspiration comes from painting. It's the other way. I need to do a reel on that, don't I? I say that so often. And Zeet, I haven't yet. I'm so sorry. I'll do it after this live, promise. And Element, I'm glad you loved the result, by the way. Thank you very much. What would you do if someone just came over and splashed paint on your painting? Kaya, I don't think, what would you do if you're in your studio and someone walked in and splashed paint all over your painting? I think that humans have an opportunity to do things. I think that's an opportunity a human could take, and they could do it. But I don't think, think about it this way. If there was a dancer out here dancing and enjoying the evening, would your reaction be to run up to them and kick them in the ankle so they couldn't dance anymore? Run up and break their ankle? In fact, let's go a step further. If you saw someone dancing out in public, would you even comment and say, what would you do if someone ran up and broke your ankle right now? I'd be sad. I'd be really upset. But I'd get on with life. I'd wait for the ankle to heal, or I'd fix the painting as I could, or I'd start a new painting. Whatever I had to do. But I wouldn't let that person's hate, because it would be hate, affect the next painting or how I fix the current painting. I would just keep going forward with a good attitude of love. And if I could, try and rub a bit of that off on the person who's come up and brought in that kind of energy. We don't want that kind of energy, guys. If it came into the room or into this little space here, we'll do our best to fix it. All right. Well, what we'd probably do is if it changed the painting too drastically, I would save it and make it my own piece, and I'd have it in my own house. And then I would start a new one for the client. Or if it wasn't too serious, then I would fix it and make the picture still for the client. But there's these opportunities. We can make it work. Hey JTD and cheers Zeet. Right, a couple of things here. Where do you get your canvases from? Quartz. We've talked about this in previous reels, and I'm adding tonight, it's on my to-do list, frequently asked questions, canvases and surfaces. We are sorting that out tonight. So can I restrain from answering now, course, and then tomorrow I'll direct you to the website and say all the answers for your Canvas needs are up there. Sounds cryptic, but bear with me. Cheers, Glynis. Appreciate that. Great take for inspiration. I'm an architect and agree so much. I have to force myself to draw, and while drawing, I'm inspired again. That's what I'm talking about. And I feel like the entire art world has it back to front. And because we have it back to front, a bunch of people who would make art, be artists or find time for art, don't, because they feel like they can't. Because it's like, imagine doing this with food, saying, oh, I just really want to eat, but I'm hungry, right? I need to wait till I'm full. Yeah, I'm going to wait till I'm full till I eat. And it's like, no. Eat because you're hungry, and then once you're eating, you'll feel full. And in that situation, replace the food for art, replace the hungry for the motivation, and replace the full for inspiration. I explained that poorly, but you see what I'm saying? Okay, coming on back down. Okay, let's just nip that one in the bud. Quartz. Do you ever get art block? Okay, every artist on the face of the planet is either a liar or they get art block. You will always stand in front of a canvas and ask yourself why. Beat yourself up, get confused, get worried, not sure what the right answer is. And that's okay. The best way to deal with that, the very best way to deal with that, is have your solutions for art block before you get blocked up. Think of it like a civil defense pack. Don't deal with an earthquake or a tsunami or a fire after it's happened. Get prepared for it before it happens, so when it does happen, you go right. Step A, step B, step C. Have a playlist that you love. Have a place that you like to go to. Have a mentor that you've already arranged that when I get blocked up, you'll be the person I speak to. Are you okay with that? Yes, cool. When I really lose my way, expect a call from me. Arrange these things and be ready for a block. Of course I get blocked up. Of course I do. And I've got mentors in place. And I've got music playlists in place. And I've got friends in place. And I've got environments and ideas and methods of painting in place so that when my block comes on, I'm so ready to deal with it. To get back on my creative bandwagon and control my craft. Because blocks don't need to control you. You can just beat them. Prepare for them. Right, coming back in. Here we go. But when it gives you, love the take, stop drawing, but when you inspire me to draw again, try painting maybe. Perfect, get into it, get started. I had it at the start of the year, but I've been doing it again because without it, my depression is bad. Yes, indeed. Without it, the depression is bad. Fair. But the thing is, we always go, oh, let's deal with artist block, and then we feel like every person in the room, and it typically is, every person in the room currently has a block, and we try to address that. That's like, at the point you've got a block, it just needs to heal. You know, it's too late. You just need to fix it gradually over time. The people who need to hear that are the ones who are not blocked up. If you're a creative and you're not blocked up, but you don't have your toolkit ready to actually get yourself back in the game and actually want to vibe making art, good luck. That's a tough spot to be in. You're basically you're driving down the road without insurance. That's risky, you know. Get yourself insurance, get your toolkit ready, get a full understanding of how you're going to actually deal with your block when it comes on. And that's not a matter of mind over matter. That's a matter of thinking, right, energetic old school playlist that really gets me dancing, location that always makes me feel a certain way, mentor who can say the right things when I need to hear them, notes to self, letters to self, diary notes to self, letters from collectors, whatever it might be, whatever you think you need to put you back on the straight and narrow. Letters from your parents, if you don't have any collectors yet. Some people make art that don't have collectors. That's okay. Letters from your parents or friends saying how proud of you they are. I don't know what you need. I'm not going to pretend like I do know what you need, but figure out what you need and have it ready. To not have it ready is, I swear, it's creative suicide. You are driving down the road with no insurance with a car that you know is going to explode. Why would you do that? So that's my advice there. Yes, true quartz. Very true. Okay. Ahaha. All right. Pet A with Steve back in here. Question being, what makes the Mona Lisa the most famous painting of all time? Okay, so fame is an interesting thing. The Mona Lisa is an interesting painting, and it's a funny painting to be the most famous painting of all time, and it's a very hard one to talk about here because it's actually a big topic, guys, and if I try and delve into it here, people make podcasts on this that go for 4 hours. So to try and sum it up here is outrageous. But what I will do is let me give you some fun facts on the Mona Lisa to then inspire you to go off and listen to a podcast or a YouTube video about her, because it's a long history that makes Mona Lisa the most famous painting of all time. What I will say is Mona Lisa's probably not finished. It's not a finished painting. Now, it was never given. It was commissioned. It's a commissioned painting, commissioned by a merchant who wanted a painting of his wife, okay? So it's a rich merchant who wanted a painting of his wife. Da Vinci took the commission. He was making the artwork. Da Vinci died before he gave the artwork to the merchant. Here's my theory, okay? This is getting very, very conspiracy theory-ish, okay? And this is not I don't think this is in a book anywhere. This is just what I believe. There's no proof of this. So if you're going to go down the rabbit hole with me, be prepared. There is no facts to back this up. Okay. I think not only was the Mona Lisa not finished, there's areas in the painting which are flat because Da Vinci didn't want to add the detail because he was expecting to add jewelry. Mona Lisa is a merchant's wife, a rich merchant. What does a rich merchant have? A lot of jewelry. What isn't Mona Lisa wearing? Any jewelry. Why? That's his wife. You want to make your wife look good for her portrait and show how much money you have by how much jewelry you can garnish her with. Yet none's in the photo. I think the painting was paused and not delivered because Da Vinci was waiting for the jewelry to be announced by the merchant for what he wanted to decorate his wife with. And that's right across the brow here, where a tiara would go, is completely flat and ugly, and her brow looks weird. Because why paint a beautiful brow if it's going to be all covered up by a tiara, right? And then her chest. Isn't it weird how there's beautiful, beautiful tones and effort down here? And the neck and all this area up here on the shoulders is beautiful. And then weirdly where her collarbone would be, Da Vinci what? He just couldn't draw collarbones and he just thought that area was just perfectly flat? That's weird. Strikes me he was planning to put a massive piece of jewelry there through that flat area. And when I look at the Mona Lisa now, I see a perfect template ready for jewelry to be added. And that's where I think the Mona Lisa sits. And I would honestly like to see, and one thing you can do, that you can actually do this with an app on your phone. No joke. App on your phone, get Mona Lisa into one of those decorate yourself with jewelry apps. Mona Lisa, put her in the decorate yourself with jewelry app, add a tiara and add a necklace. Painting looks finished. Tell me I'm wrong. Swear painting looks finished. Anyway, coming in here. G'day Oreo, how you doing? Welcome on in. There were a few comments there, guys. I missed a bunch of them. I was yarning on the Mona Lisa. Like I was saying, literally get the Mona Lisa, put some jewelry on her. She looks finished. I think that's why the painting was unfinished and those areas are flat. Okay, Coming up here to help with the process, the thought and feeling into reality, to deal with it. Every time I've been blocked, I find the demon beyond the blockage. Yep, perfect, John, perfect. So, and like I say, everyone has their own techniques for it. You're explaining what your technique is, which means you already have it ready. You're in a fantastic space, you absolute legend. Representing beauty in unfinished art. See, I think the process is the real part of the art, whereas the conclusion, the actual finished product, is just evidence of the whole process. So that's a pretty fun thing. Right, there we go. How's our light looking, team? Let me just have a look-see here. Have you ever done a painting on... Glynis, look, you can do paintings on drugs. I'll say this very, very blatantly. Drugs can be alcohol. With Van Gogh, he used absinthe, which is a very, very strong alcohol. A lot of drugs like marijuana. I hope these words don't get us stream banned, but artists love these things. Realize that the way you behave under the drug will make the art different, and if you like the art that way, you might become reliant on the drug to make the art. It's a fun experiment, but realize that actually you are not an intoxicated version of yourself. So if you want to make a true portrayal of you, please, 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 please do it with the real you. Yes, it's fun to get drunk. It's fun to do substances of different kinds. I'm sure it is. But realize that although you have fun doing that, as soon as someone says, I like myself better when I'm drunk, that's a risky place to be. And the same thing happens when an artist says, I like my art better when I'm drunk. What's happened there, or high, what's happened there is you've became insecure or scared of what you make when you're not in that state, and you feel like you're more fun and sporadic and crazy when you're under an influence. And it's just a barrier. It's a shield you put up in your own mind to defend yourself because you're afraid of anyone seeing who you really are. And that's okay, but that's something you have to overcome. That's where I come from there. And for me, the allure of doing things like that, for me, I love caffeine. But don't make a mistake, caffeine is a drug. And if I always use caffeine to make the art, okay, when do I actually approach art without, a coffee or anything like this, to actually approach it as real as I can be? Because a caffeinated version of myself always making the art will eventually also suffer from the same condition of being unauthentic. That's a fact. All right, coming back up. True, so true. Life lesson, smiley face. That one is beautiful. Yes. All right. I think I'll stop on that point then. Otherwise, I'll just keep waffling. It sounds like we hit that one on the mark. We are losing light though, team. So we'll do another 5-10 minutes, and then we might dash off indoors because the mosquitoes will come out too. Hello from San Antonio, Texas. I like that analogy. Now I feel so bad for not getting before. The analogy. Oh, Steve, I've already forgotten. What was the analogy? These chats go at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and when I read back to the chats and someone says, great point, I'm just like, I made 15 points. It'll be one of them, but now I've lost it. Which is also hard too, because that means you don't get the positive reinforcement to know what's landing and what's not. Thanks. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Glynis. Appreciate you guys. We are losing light, team. We are losing light. So this will be our last colour that we slash this with. Classic ultramarine blue. As the evening goes down. Oh, I feel a cold sitting on my hands. I like that. It's brisk. It's brisk. Frisky. Hit me with some cold. There we go. I would die every day waiting for you. For 1,000 years. There we go, team. Right, our light is completely diminished. Oh, LJ, you've just arrived here and I'm about to head off because the light is gone. And I'm gonna race off home before it gets too freezing cold. Thanks, Glynis. Look, thank you for being here. I will say this, making art can be a very, very lonely endeavor. So sharing this together actually has a huge impact on me and the craft itself. You may feel like you're here just hanging out, but by hanging out with me, you're making this painting all it can be. You guys help me vibe, and if I'm vibing, and I'm using quite 2024 terms here, if I'm vibing, then the end result actually has happiness, joy, vitality through it. Instead of lethargic, I don't want lethargic loneliness to ever be in a painting. If loneliness creeps into the art, it can be the most devastating thing for the art. This here has anything but. It's got life, vibrance in it. Let me show you the picture. I love doing this, guys. We've started doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this because this is such a vibe. Here we go. Here's our picture. We were working with black and white today. Now I'm gonna pop it over. Now, the spring, this giant area through here, the amazing water, where the families would hang out and the kids would be. It's the most incredible spot. I've seen more photos of it up close. I can't show you guys, but oh my God, this is the most incredible part of the world. I love it. They're in kayaks, it's beautiful. Fishing there, all sorts. The house is up here. I'm gonna show you up close. There's the house, there's the spring, and then down from the house here, there's a little zigzagging track. Okay, so let me bring you to here. Voila, pow. Now, see how that spring's jumping out of that landscape, but it wants to sit cushioned in the bosom of these rounded tree marks. See all these bushes here, how they do create almost these big rounded pillars, almost as if, guys, work with me here. You know when you go down to the beach and someone grabs their hand right down by the water's edge and scrapes their hand through the sand and pulls it to each side and the water runs in between and it forms these mounds on each side? It has that kind of look to it. Okay, and okay, we're a step closer, but that there is maybe 12 colors. We're going for 35. We're only a third of the way there. This takes time. You'll start to sense the vibe of the work showing up. But if you can see the work, I've failed, because you shouldn't be able to see more than a third of the feeling of this picture at this stage. Anyway, it's been fun, guys. It's been real. I'm gonna go in before it gets too dark. I didn't get any, I got no paint on me. That's a win. And I want you to look after yourselves, guys. Yeah, so, ooh, Slovenia, sending love right back. Thank you so much. Looks like River Road in Hamilton. It's from Texas, but I can see the vibe you're going for. I like that. Cheers, guys. How am I not cold? I'm freezing. That's why I'm leaving. I'm dashing out of here. This impressionist moment is beautiful. Zeet, you like this one? Yes. I like the fact that you don't like a few of them too, Zeet. It makes me really believe you when you say you like one. So your vote on this one, it's heading in the right direction for you. I like that. Oh, Mona Lisa, now I'm following. Yes. Right, guys. Sending love to Calgary, Zeet. Look after yourself. Amber, you have a great day too. Thanks for joining in. And yes, sorry LJ, I am disappearing now, but I'll upload the whole live, and so you can catch it there. Otherwise, hopefully I'll be back tomorrow with more sunlight to be here for longer, but that's all we had time for today. And I like this new shirt. Last note before I leave, this is a crease-proof shirt, so I don't need to fold it beautifully. I just put it in the drawer and it comes out without creases on it. Go figure. Anyway, there we go. Right, op shop finds. Crazy world out there. Okay, yes, DM on Insta. Perfect place, Courts. Perfect place. Right, catch you guys. All the best.